And I celebrated today by taking a nap. Therefore, I'm still half asleep. Welcome to the first meeting of the Board of Directors for the year 2015. So we call our meeting to order, and it's will come out 4 minutes after 2. Keeping track of things today, as usual, will be Kathy Doherty. And I'm the timekeeper, but I don't think we have any time to keep, so we're in pretty good shape there. At this point, I'd like to call on Nancy Caldwell. She's here. I was going to have somebody present the results of the ballots as they closed our election. Anybody have those numbers? I do, but I thought it was supposed to be officially done by somebody else. Yes, thank you. Need a motion to adopt the agenda for today. Moved by Andy Altman, seconded. There's a race on my left. Bob Giddings. All in favor? Opposed? Accept the minutes. This is actually resumption of yesterday's meeting as we went into recess yesterday afternoon. Okay, well, since we don't have anybody official, I guess I'm official enough. The directors elected for the next 2 years, Frank Batchelder. I knew it fell in. Never mind. Pardon me. Yours truly, Herb Herman. And Elka Struck, welcome to the board. So I think at this point we play musical chairs.
May I have the floor, Mr. Chair?
Well, yes, please do. I was going to do it. Yes.
Before you leave us, Herm, on behalf of OVA and the Board of Directors, we'd very much like to present you with a departure gift. It's actually the full set of Davis Sterling from 2011 to 2015. And unfortunately, Fran Diaz is not with us this afternoon, so we will pass along her gift, as well to 2 departing board members and then rejoining board members as well. John Felton, thank you very much for your past 2 years. And Frank Batchelor, thank you so much for what you brought forward. And welcome back. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
They're always helpful people keeping me on track. It helps. Okay, now we'll do musical chairs. So, Herb, come on up, and welcome. And there we go. Yeah. Thank you. The next thing in order of business here will be for the new board to elect a president for the coming year, and whoever becomes the president, elected president for the coming year, will take over for the rest of the agenda.
I have the microphone. I would like to nominate Frank Batchelor as president of the board.
It's been moved and seconded by Herman to elect Mr. Baxter be president for the next year. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
You're it, Frank.
Thank you. So with that, we're going to change chairs. But why don't we just, that'll work.
Thank you, John. Let me tell you, it's just been a great pleasure working with John Felton here. He's done an absolutely fantastic job during the time I've been on the board. He's quite a gentleman. He puts in just tons of hours. And I think, as a token of how much support he has in the community, the amount of votes he got in this election is an indication of that. I think that's very, very good. Anyhow, John is not leaving the board. He's a very valuable asset. He has an engineering background. He's going to be very instrumental in putting together our remaining projects when we get to them. So it's been a pleasure, John. Oh, there's Fran. Fran, you missed the beginning here, but we want to thank you very, very much for the 2 years you put in on the board. Your being on the board has just been valuable to us. You're quite a lady. Anyhow, I think Bob has something for you.
I did nothing this past year whatsoever, and I would be embarrassed. Someone explain her.
Yes, Bob?
I'd like to say she did a lot for me when I came onto the board, and she was an anchor on many issues. And the clarity of thought she had on certain issues was spot on as far as I'm concerned. And I think she played a great role in our last board.
Fran, I checked it out. Token gifts are legal. Token gifts to board members are legal. I checked it out.
That box is full of old bus tokens.
Anyhow. Next item on the agenda is the election of the vice president. I'd like to entertain a motion for the next vice president of the board. Yes, John?
I nominate Andy Altman.
It's been moved and second that Andy Altman be the next vice president. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by raising their hand. All those opposed? So carried. Congratulations. This is going to be a very fast meeting. The next item on the agenda is the election of the secretary. I was secretary up to this point. Kathy Doherty did all the work. So the job doesn't take a great deal of your time. So anyhow, I would like to entertain a motion for secretary of the board. Yes, Bob?
I would like to nominate John Felton as secretary, and I'd like to add, because we didn't get a microphone down here, that it's been a pleasure working with John this last year. I can only second what you said, and the humility and the behind-the-scenes work, the hours and hours of work that John put in will never be done to the community at large. But it should be said at least once. Maybe next year, too. We'll see. But thank you so much, John. And I take great pleasure nominating him for secretary.
Do I have a second? Andy? Are there any other motions for secretary? Hearing none, all those in favor of John Felton as secretary, raise their hand. All opposed? Carried unanimously. Congratulations. The next item on the agenda is the election of treasurer. Do I hear a motion on the floor?
Well,
Yes, sir?
I nominate Elvis Strunka as treasurer of the OBA.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that Elvis Strunka be nominated as the next treasurer of the board. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise their hand. All those opposed? Carried unanimously. I'd like to personally welcome you and also Herm to the board. Herm's old hat at this. He knows the ropes already. But we really look forward to having you on the board. We think you're going to be a very strong asset as far as the treasurer, and we can't wait to see what you do to get a handle on exactly where our finances stand. So, okay, great, thank you. That's then would be the nomination of the officers for the board of directors. Next item is this is by the way, a meeting basically to. It's a procedural meeting. We're not going to talk policy. We're not going to talk about pickleball. We're not going to talk about anything controversial. We're just getting organized here. So it's going to be, that's why it's going to be short. The next item is that we need to reaffirm and approve various committee appointments and chairs to those committees. I think, does each person have the list of those committees? Okay. I want to break this down into, I think, three items. First, I'd like to entertain a motion for the reaffirmation and approval of the existing We'll do the architectural committee first. For reaffirmation and approval of the architectural committee members and volunteers. Now, in looking at the current list, I noticed that Herman is right now one of the 3 voting members of the architectural committee.
I have already submitted my resignation to Marianne Newfield.
Okay. My question to you, Herb, is can the until we come up with a replacement for that spot, can we proceed with only 2 architectural committee members as far as voting? Is that a quorum? Okay, so you have withdrawn. All right, then what we would want to do is to reaffirm and approve Marianne Neufeld and Jerry Annis for their terms of office. Marianne Neufeld's office expires on January of 2014. And Jerry Annis's appointment, pardon me, it's supposed to be 2015, thank you. Who's Barry in here? Okay, I was told it was 14, but it is 16. I beg it for life. Boy, you are. Okay, we'll say we will move and affirm her appointment for the term that she was originally appointed for. And also the volunteers. Again, El Castronca, you're a volunteer. You intend to remain on that? Because if you do, you don't.
I'll be resigning.
Okay. Then in addition on this motion, would move to reaffirm and approve the other 3 members, which would be Gene Whitridge, James Hughesby, and Alexis Freeham. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move.
Second? All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? Carried. The next motion I'd like to entertain is a motion to reaffirm and approve the remaining ad hoc and miscellaneous committee members and chairs that we have. My list includes the Communications Committee, the Community Development Committee, the Finance Committee, the Landscape Committee, the Long Range Planning Committee, the Oakmont Emergency Preparedness Committee, the Burger Improvement Ad Hoc Committee, the Pickleball Court Site Selection Development Committee, and the West Rec Structural Improvement Committee. Have I covered all of the committees? Yes, Bob?
On the finance committee, I believe Chuck has stepped down as chair, and Elkin is now the treasurer. Should we put in that change?
Yes, I think so.
Also, I was a member of the finance committee, and I can no longer do that.
Okay, that's noted.
Mr. President.
Yes?
Also the wastewater treatment plant ad hoc committees.
Well, that's what that is.
Okay, that should still.
Yeah, I didn't. I knew what that was. Okay. Also, the committee on the Oakmont Wastewater Treatment Plant Study Committee. And Employee Abuse Committee. Is that it? Okay. Can I entertain a motion then?
So moved as stated.
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor, raise their hand. Carried. Okay, that basically does the procedural matters here. Oh, appointment of Personnel Committee. Personnel Committee usually is 3 directors. The president is usually one of them. The vice president is usually the other. I haven't had a chance to talk to various members of the board about the third member who should be on it. And at this time, I would prefer, rather than having a motion for all 3, we just have a motion for those 2, and then we can discuss it amongst ourselves as to who should be the third person. I just haven't had a chance to talk to somebody. Okay, that's good. Does that mean with approval? I think last year, John Taylor thought it was his prerogative to appoint the Personnel Committee. My reading of the bylaws, I think it's the board's decision on who's on the Personnel Committee, so I'm not going to exercise that authority. Can I entertain a motion then to say nominate those 2, and then we'll nominate a third person later?
So, I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor, raise their hand. All opposed? Carried. All right. There was one item. Wally, do you want to? I said we're not going to talk about policy, that sort of thing, but there is one issue that's very important to Oakmont and has to do with Inolca. And Wally wanted an opportunity just to remind people in the audience about there's going to be a bus to pick everybody up that wants to go to the city meeting.
Thank you, Frank. I think my voice is loud enough. I don't need the mic. We had a meeting yesterday with Oakmont Senior Living. That's the company that will be developing the Anoka project at our west end. And they requested that we send a large group of folks to the city council meeting a week from today, a week from this afternoon. They are paying for a bus, which will be at the Burger Center at 3 o'clock a week from today. That will be Tuesday the 14th. And we want to try to fill that bus. And all you have to do is ride the bus. We will give you each a piece of colored paper. You will sit in the audience at the city council meeting, which starts at 4 o'clock. We will come up on the agenda sometime 5 or thereafter. What we want you to do is, when you agree with anything that's being said by a speaker on the floor, just wave your colored. We did this 3 years ago when the Anoka EIR final vote came up. We sent 2 busloads of people down there. And I think that was a great contributor to the city council denying the approval for that horrendous project that they wanted to put in over there with the apartment buildings, et cetera, et cetera. And Oakmont Senior Living is very concerned that the city council will not pass they've asked to have the ridge line taken out of the general plan. that is in the back end of Anoka. And if you look at it from the highway, you'll see the grading that was done 25 years ago, and at the top of that grade is what is indicated in our general plan, the city general plan, as a ridge line. And ridge lines are not supposed to be built on. However, that ridge line extends, only a quarter of it is in Anoka, the other 3/4 are in Oakmont. Run down Meadow Ridge Drive and completely built on. It's already built on. So the idea, we are trying to get the city council to get that out of the general plan so that OSL can go ahead with their project. And the reason we want them to do that is that they signed an agreement with them 2 years ago that if we back them on the project they now have designed for that area, they will remove the commercial aspect that was in front. That's going to save a lot of traffic on Highway 12. They will have the front 9 acres rezoned back to age restricted, and the entire project will become a private verena type thing, only about 20% cheaper than the cost of moving into Verena. And we have felt that for those 68 acres, this project that they're planning to put in there will create the least amount of traffic on Highway 12, and that's what we're concerned about. It will do the least amount of traffic, and we know that 68 acres is going to be developed. And we sure as heck don't want standard apartment buildings built in there. And that's what they would have to go back to if the city council does not go forward a week from today. So that's why we urge enough of you to come down and fill up the bus. All you have to do is sit there and wave your piece of colored paper at the right times. And as most of you know, Oakmont has a lot of clout with our city council. We can make or break an election very easily. So they pay attention to us. So we need you on that bus. If you can't, get a friend to stand in for it. Give them a $300 bonus. Place in the draft line. And we urge people to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Wally. I forgot there's one thing. We have committee liaisons from the board. Each board member, or many of the board members, have assignments to go and be liaisons at, say, the communications committee, the architectural committee, that sort of thing. The purpose is not to participate in the meetings or to give advice, but basically to be helpful if they need advice from the board about what's going on. They don't participate in decisions, that sort of thing. But this is a prerogative of the president to appoint the liaison. So at this time, I'm affirming, and so I don't think I can motion myself. I'm affirming the appointments of the liaisons to the committees until I change it. Yes, John.
A suggestion?
Yes.
That we postpone that perhaps for the next meeting, to have a chance to talk to all of the candidates that might, the board members that might serve on those, since we've had changes, and see where the new people might want to fit in, rather than deciding that today. Your choice.
I don't want to have a gap between now and the board meeting. We're talking about 2 weeks. And whoever's liaison between now and the new board meeting, I think maybe they can just they can go and be the liaison since they have no power. They're just there to observe, basically. But thank you for the suggestion. Yes, Herm?
I noticed that I'm listed as a liaison for long-range planning, and I'd like to be removed for it and want some new board member to be appointed.
You're removed. Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I'd like to have one Herm replace the other Herm as long-range planning liaison if possible.
That's fine with me. Okay, I'll appoint you. Anybody else want? Want me to point it now? Okay, well, yes, Boyd.
Mrs. Diaz has been the board member that attends the Community Development Committee meeting, and we have a meeting coming up day after tomorrow. So if you want to send a substitute temporarily or whatever you want to do.
I plan to be there. I'm going to be at all. If I can make it, I'm going to be at every committee meeting until we get it resolved as to who the liaisons are going to be. So there'll be someone there. Okay. So I think that covers that. That's the business for today. I just want to say how proud I am to be with this board. There's not one slacker here on this board. I anticipate that we're going to have very vigorous debates, courteous debates. Are you a slacker? And I anticipate it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think we've got a lot of projects in front of us. And I think I'm looking forward to coming to consensus where we can. And if we have to disagree, we disagree. But I think this is a great board to work with. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yes? Okay.
This is different than usual. You know, sitting up here at the table, all but two of us are board members. Everybody knows Cassie. But I want to single out Kathy at the other end for a moment. Obviously, she's not a board member. She's part of our staff, but she's very much part of our team. She's here at every one of our meetings, takes the minutes, which takes a huge load off of the secretary. She's like Wally in many respects. She's a walking encyclopedia of the history of Oakmont. Anytime you go into the office and you want some strange piece of paper that happened on the third Tuesday of 1928. She knows where to find it. And I just wanted to thank you very much.
And last but not least, Cassie, would you like to say anything? Have we covered everything?
Yeah, welcome.
Okay, well then, let's get to work. Meeting's adjourned.